Namaskar and welcome to day 12 of our spiritual journey. So, somebody wrote in to ask that is it wrong to have expectations from other people? Now, here it is not a question of right or wrong, but rather we should look at it from the angle of does it help me? Now, what happens when we have expectations from other people is most of the time those expectations are not met for different reasons. And then what we do is we start feeling bad or we feel unhappy or we feel self pity for ourselves that I'm having all this trouble, people are not understanding and doing what I expect them to do, right? So when we are in such situations, there are two things one that we can do. Let's talk about the first one first and then I will come to the second one. Now you can try to change this situation in such a way that people will be able to meet your expectation. So to do this, first thing we need to do is to check our expectation. What kind of an expectation is it? Is it specific? Are you clear about what you want the other person to do or to say or how to behave? Is it realistic? Is it possible for them to be like that? If you have somebody who is not at all having that quality, then is it correct of you to expect such a thing from that person? Is it achievable? Is it possible for them to do it? Are they capable enough or it is what you are expecting is far beyond their capacity? And most importantly, check whether you are communicating clearly about what you expect. Many times we have something in our mind, and along with expecting that other people should be able to do those things for us, we also expect that they should read our mind. People are not mind readers. So you have to be clear and communicate what it is that you expect of the other person. Now, after you have communicated clearly and an agreement has been reached that yes, the person is going to do it, give time to see if it is being met or not. Many times we feel that we want other people to quickly change. They have not done something or they have not behaved in a particular way for all so many years, and suddenly we want them, just because we had a discussion or we told them, we want that they should start changing. It is not possible. Whatever swabhav dosh somebody else may have, that again is because of their samskaras which are from some so many past janmas. So it may not be possible for everybody to change very fast. You may need to tell them again. Then when you keep telling again and again, it may become like nagging, and the very fact that you are nagging somebody to do something may put them off. Then they will decide that all the time he or she is eating my head, I will not do it. So that possibility is also there, right? So this is the first thing that we can do from our side. Now, after some time of doing this and continuously doing it, you find that still the person is not changing or your expectations are not being met. Then go to the next stage, the second thing that I talked about, and accept that your expectations won't be met. You learn to live with it, okay? And learn to give up that sense of expectation from other people. To be able to do this, you will have to intensify your spiritual practice. To be able to accept that your expectation is not going to be met, you need to cultivate the attitude that whatever is happening in your life because other people are not meeting your expectations, that is happening for your own good. And you are supposed to look at it from the angle that this is going to help in my spiritual practice. Now, there is one interesting thing that somebody told me, my brother in law mentioned the other day, where it was told to him by somebody else. One of a spiritually exalted person told him that everybody only wants to be boss. Nobody wants to be das, right? So check, is your expectation coming because you want to be the boss? Or are you cultivating the attitude of a das? This is a very important clue for us. Never mind if you feel that your expectations are realistic or you feel that your expectation is correct. But if it is not going to be met, it is not going to be met. Then the best thing you can do to help yourself to avoid dukkha and to continue to use even the adverse circumstances for your benefit, the best thing you can do is to pray to God that give me the strength to overcome this expectation. Help me to not expect anything from others. Help me to develop unconditional love towards other people, which is not dependent on having any expectation from them. That is called as preeti. Normally, whatever love we feel for people, many a times, it is conditional. We may not state it as a specific condition, but it is there somewhere in the back of our mind. When our children are nice and listen to whatever we tell, we feel love for them. The minute our child starts rebelling against us, then we start, there is some, we may not say it in words, we will still love the child, but there is some kind of asamadhana in our mind, right? So, being able to love people, irrespective of whether they meet our expectations or not, that is a spiritual level goal. And to be able to achieve that goal, we need to cultivate the attitude of being a das and not a boss. Now, when you have the attitude of being a das, then over time you will learn to look at all events in your life as being sent for your growth. You will learn to look at them as learning experiences, and you will develop the qualities which are required to overcome those difficulties. And over time your mind and intellect will dissolve. You will have manolay and buddhilay, and because of this you will progress spiritually much faster. Now in the Bhagavatam it is told that after the Kurukshetra war, when everything was settled and then Krishna was ready to leave from the Pandavas, at that time everybody, okay, they were little unhappy that Krishna was leaving, but Kunti had tears in her eyes and she was crying. So Krishna asked her that what happened, because of what are you crying like this? I have, everything has been sorted out, everything is fine now. You can live in happiness and continue to rule over this kingdom and make the world a better place and everything. So why are you crying? So Kunti said, yeah, that exactly is my problem. That now there are no problems. And only when we have problems, our mind will turn towards you, Krishna. Only when we have difficulties in our life, we will be able to think of you and remember you. So if there is nothing to worry about in my life, then I am scared that I will stop thinking of you at all. What a kind of bhava that is. What a kind of spiritual emotion that is. Can we learn to cultivate this same emotion in our life? That when we have difficulties, let us not cry over the difficulty, but let us use that as an opportunity to pray to God, to remember Him more, to surrender to His will. And by doing all these things, we should be able to progress in a better way in the spiritual world. From the worldly point of view, we may appear like fools, but if you know in your mind that this is going to help you grow and get closer to God, then we must welcome such events. So I hope that Krishna will bless us to be able to do this. So as today's activity, let us do an exercise in which we will identify the first thing that I said, that what are my expectation of XYZ people. Pick up 2 or 3 people and write down what are your expectations from those people. Check if those expectations are specific, are they realistic, are they achievable, and are you communicating it clearly. After some days, if you are not communicating clearly, try to adopt the habit of telling clearly what you expect from the other person. Wait and give them time. And if it is still not met, try to remind maybe once. If still it is not met, then simultaneously learn to accept that this is for my good. Pray to God that give me the Shakti, give me the mental frame of mind to accept this as prasadam for you, from you. And cultivate the attitude. Write down today in your activity what are all the ways in which you can learn to be a das and not a boss. And keep looking at this over the next few days and try and put it into practice. with a prayer that Lord Krishna should bless us to be able to do this and use adversity and even unpleasant circumstances for our own growth. I want to thank you. Namaskar.